Afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's talk about the fight card this weekend, headlined by Dillian White versus JERMAINE Franklin. I think this is a decent fight card. Like, what do you guys think? I'm always sort of scared to say this now because I don't want people to say, "Ah, you're just saying that because you're a company man." No, I genuinely think this is a decent fight card. Let's have a quick look at it in its entirety, and then you guys can tell me if it's good or not. And be honest, be honest in the comment section. I'm going to jump in the comment section and respond to the comments. Tell me what you think about this fight card. All right, so headlined by Dillian White versus JERMAINE Franklin. We're going to talk about that fight right now, and we're going to talk about Dillian White specifically, so I don't want to get into too much, but I don't know what to expect from that. Dillian White, it's been a long time since we've seen White put on a good performance, and we're not quite sure about how good the unbeaten JERMAINE Franklin is. Fabio Wardley versus Nathan Gorman for the British heavyweight title. I think that's a very, very good fight. Craig Richards versus Ricard Bolotniks. I watched Bolotniks. Obviously, look, we know Bolotniks over here from fighting quite a few Brits, but I watched him against Sepp in Spain. I think it was around March, April. Sepp was unbeaten. Really good performance from Bolotniks. Didn't go into that fight as favourite, went in as an underdog, but almost bullied Sepp a bit. So this is going to be an interesting matchup because physically, I think he's a lot bigger than Richards, but Richards is a lot leaner and I think faster. But Richards has to start fast in this one because Bolotniks will certainly start fast. Again, we remember the problems he caused Buatsi. Obviously, Buatsi got the job done in the end, but had to dig deep. And Richards is coming off that really good performance against Buatsi. So look, again, I like that one. Sandy Ryan versus Sanchez. This is obviously, I wouldn't say a last minute replacement, but it wasn't supposed to be Sanchez. But if you're Sandy Ryan, this 140-pound division, this is the wrong time to look bad in it, right? Because potentially she could be fighting for a world title very soon. Maybe not the next fight, but sometime in 2023. So look, that's the main portion of the card. Then you got Siobhan Clark, you got Pat McCormack, Mark Dickinson, obviously three prospects that Matchroom and I think just sort of general British boxing fans are excited about. So yeah, look, I think it's decent. I think it's decent. Score it out of 10. What do you guys think? Out of 10, where would you put this card? Again, we got Dillian White. Let's see what he does. Craig Richards in, I think, a very tough fight in the light heavyweight division. And if you're Craig, you need this performance because you don't want to be forgotten. You don't want to be. There's a lot of talk about Buatsi versus Bivol. There's a lot of talk, obviously, we know now, Yard versus Beterbiev. You want to somehow still be in that mix somehow. I wouldn't mind seeing Craig Richards, if he comes through this one and looks good, against Callum Smith next year. Callum Smith, we know is mandatory for the WBC, but he's not going to get that anytime soon. Again, Beterbiev's fighting Yard, and then if he comes through that, you think that they're going to go all systems go for Beterbiev versus Bivol. So Callum Smith's going to be the outside looking in. I don't mind Craig Richards getting an opportunity if he looks good. And Fabio Wardley Gorman, I mean, that's a 50-50 scrap. Honestly, it's a 50-50. I have no idea how this one plays out. I mean, Wardley has looked good, putting people to sleep, but you would say he's put people to sleep that he should have been putting to sleep. Gorman, the only hiccup, the only stumbling block has been that Daniel Dubois performance. Apart from that, he's been okay. My only thing with Gorman is conditioning, confidence. Where is he? Wardley, we know, is very confident. Conditioning is always on point. And he's the home fighter, if you like. So it's going to be interesting. All right, let's talk. Let's focus on Dillian White for a few minutes. Dillian White, obviously, look, I think needs a very, very good performance. I remember a couple of years ago, I wasn't too high on Dillian White. Maybe like 3 years ago, I wasn't too high on him. I think a lot of people had him in sort of their top 5, and I always used to argue that he's not. He would lose to Ortiz and he would lose to Ruiz. But then, you know, he gained my respect. I think he had a run. I think the run was like Helenius, correct me if I'm wrong here, by the way, but I think it was Helenius, Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker, Chisora, Oscar Rivas. And although I thought he struggled a bit against Rivas, I think Dillian White got put down in that fight, didn't he? That's a good run. That's a very, very solid run. So I think just almost by default, I had to kind of put him in that conversation, sort of being a top 5, top 6 heavyweight, which again, by default, makes you an elite heavyweight for me, right? Whether or not you like his boxing ability or not, again, that run was solid, especially the Chisora fight. Just because I remember the first Chisora fight, which I thought Chisora won, but fight of the year, honestly, fantastic. And seeing how he improved in the second fight, although it was close on the scorecards, I love these back foot fighting off the ropes, and then that hook to end it was just brilliant. That's a long time ago. It's been a long time, I think, since we've seen a very good Dillian Whyte performance. It's been a long time. Obviously, we know he got knocked out by Povetkin, and yes, he won the rematch, but I didn't think he looked great. Before that was Maris Vac. Remember when he fought on the undercard of AJ Ruiz, where he was really heavy, and then obviously Fury. So it's been a while since we've seen a really good Dillian Whyte performance, which is why I asked the question, I mean, is Dillian Whyte still an elite level heavyweight? Like, when you think of the elites, do you think of Dillian Whyte? Does Dillian Whyte still make your top 10? I mean, these are genuine questions I'm asking, just because I almost feel like he's always been, or at least for the last 5 or 6 years, he's always been in and around that top 10, higher in some people's rankings. Where he is now, though, I ain't got a clue. Dillian Whyte's 35. He's 35. He's had a lot of tough fights, right? Fights that have been quite grueling. Again, Fury, knockout. Wasn't physically tough, but regardless, he got knocked out. Povetkin, knockout. Oscar Rivas was tough. Joseph Parker was tough. Chisora before the knockout was quite a tough fight. So I do wonder what's left in the Dillian Whyte tank. I do wonder. I was very, very disappointed with the Fury performance. Very disappointed. It's a fight I was very excited about, and I thought, you know what, you just never know. And in the end, Dillian Whyte almost froze a bit in there for some reason, which is so not like Dillian Whyte. Like, Dillian Whyte, he might lose some, but he's going to give it. And I don't think he just done anything to Fury. He didn't do anything. So I was very disappointed. So now, look, with a new trainer in Buddy McGurk, he's stepped down a level in fighting Jermaine Franklin. Let's see how he looks. He's got to look, I think, really, really good. Jermaine Franklin has been inactive. I mean, his last fight was against a guy I think that had like 20 losses just to get a win under his belt. Before that, it's been, I don't think he's fought since 2019. So it's been a long time from Franklin. What I have seen of him, decent boxer, good hands, relatively good power. He's just a very good C plus B level fighter. That's what he is. And Dillian Whyte should be bodying this type of opponent. He really should be, especially if he wants to stay within that mix. Eddie Hearn has come out and said, look, the winner of this one will fight AJ. Dillian Whyte's got to look really, really good in order to sell this AJ fight. He has, because I think, I don't want to say he's coming to the end, but look, 35, you are coming to the end. You're on the downward curve. I just hope that he's made that switch to Buddy quick enough, because I think Buddy's a really good trainer, and it will bring back the aggression we like in Dillian Whyte. Like, I never looked at Dillian Whyte stylistically and thought he's a beautiful boxer, but his aggression's always been there. And I think we haven't really seen it of much recently. Even in that second Povetkin fight, and look, a win's a win, and that's what is the most important thing. I thought he looked really sloppy in that fight. I thought he looked really sloppy. That could be a case of he's overtrained. Sometimes you've got to give credit to the opponent, Povetkin. I don't know what it is, but we need to see a much better Dillian Whyte than we've seen in the last, again, 3 years. Now, another problem with Dillian Whyte could be activity, right? Dillian Whyte, I think, one fight in 2020, one fight in 2021. This is only his second fight in 2022. So you're talking 4 fights in pretty much 4 years. Not good enough. Like, it's just not, you're not active enough at all. When you think of Dillian Whyte, again, when I spoke about that run that he was on in 2017 and 2018, I think he had 2 fights in 2017, 3 fights in 2018, and no wonder we saw a fantastic Dillian Whyte. So maybe activity's part to blame as well, but I don't know. I think Dillian Whyte's got a lot to do to prove to people that he still is sort of one of the best heavyweights out there. Again, I've always been a bit like that when it comes to Dillian Whyte, but you know, he's changed my mind with good performances. Again, Parker I thought was a good performance. Dillian Whyte performance. Oscar Rivas at the Dig Deep, good performance. Helenius now, all of a sudden, that looks like a good win. I know Helenius got knocked out by Wilder, but you look at what Helenius done before that in those 2 victories over Kalnaki. So those are good wins, but those are a long time ago. Like, you can only hang on to those for so long. We need to see a better Dillian Whyte. We've seen sort of little bits of what he's been doing with Buddy McGirt behind the scenes, and everything just seems to be a bit more tighter, where Dillian Whyte sometimes can be a bit wild when he swings. So hopefully Buddy McGirt's made him a bit more, tight knit. And because look, he's, we know that uppercut's a bit of a problem for him. So hopefully his guard's a bit closer in, so he doesn't get caught with that. Because Franklin's been showing clips of him, throwing the uppercut. But look, I just want to see a better Dillian White. If you're gonna sell me Dillian White versus AJ in March or February or wherever it is, April, he's got to look really good here. He's got to look good. Again, for me, Jermaine Franklin is at best, a B- fighter. And, for a long time, Dillian White's been at least a B+, A-. So let's see if he can sort of show that he's above this level. Again, he's had tough fights in the past. He's 35 now. There's not long to go. There's not long to go with Dillian White. But if he wants to stay in and around sort of the top heavyweights for the next 2 or 3 years, he's going to have to show improvements. Because, if it was announced today that Dillian White's fighting Daniel Dubois, I think a lot of people would go maybe the Dubois route. I wouldn't. I still favour Dillian White, but he needs to separate himself from those type of fighters. Like if it's now announced Joe Joyce versus Dillian White, everyone's going to go Joe Joyce, right? I think that's fair. Then there are sort of up and coming fighters that you've got to be careful of, the Jared Andersons of the world. It's going to be interesting to see how Dillian White looks. I would prefer, I know they're talking about AJ, but I would prefer, if Dillian White looks good in this fight, I'd prefer him to fight Ruiz. I'd rather see Andy Ruiz versus Dillian White than Dillian White versus AJ. I'd like that. I don't see the storyline. I don't see what you're trying to sell us in Dillian White versus AJ. There's not enough there. Look, it will always sell, right? Those two don't like each other and sparks will fly, but I'd rather see a Dillian White versus an Andy Ruiz. I wouldn't mind seeing a Dillian White versus a Joseph Parker rematch, those type of opponents, but we'll see how it plays out. All right, let's, what do you guys think, by the way, before we move on quickly? What do you think? Do you think I'm being harsh? Do you still think he's an elite heavyweight? Do you think he needs to show something? I think he needs to show a lot. I do, but I'm going to ask that question to Andy Lee and David Hay. I'm working with Andy Lee and David Hay on Saturday. I'm going to ask those guys, what do they think? Do they still think he's an elite level? And for me, an elite level means you are around sort of that top 8, maybe even top 6. I don't think I have him in that. In fact, no, I don't think I don't have him in that. But we'll see. All right, Fury. When I splatter Usyk, they're going to say he was too small. It was a mismatch, blah, blah, blah. Errol Spence indicates he's working at his next move. Furman fight looms. Yep, we'll see. Bored of it. Ain't you bored of it? I'm so bored of all that talk. Wilder's trainer, this is Malik Scott here speaking. Chisora must beat Fury up on the inside. Can't allow Fury to hold. Yeah, once Fury starts holding you and puts his weight on you, boy, you're in trouble. That's a lot of weight. I know Chisora is a big, strong guy himself, but he just saps the energy out of you. Like when you go and watch the Wilder fight, when Wilder's fighting in close and Wilder's trying to fight at distance, but every time he gets in close, Fury just sits on him and that will snap your legs. And we know Wilder's legs are very, very skinny. And I think it just takes the energy out of you. So that's one thing Chisora's got to do a lot better. He must get inside and work to that body and just be naughty. I mean, naughty. All the dark arts of boxing. And then see what can happen. But it's tough. Honestly, it's tough. I saw this one. This was interesting. Whether or not I believe it, I don't know. Tyson Fury said, if Usyk don't want no smoke in February, then let's do Joe Joyce at Wembley. By the way, does this mean, and look, there's so much going on, by the way, like Hrgovic has now been mandated by the IBF, which looks like it's going to go purse bids. So there's a lot of conversations in and around this Usyk situation. But does that mean, though, that the Fury AJ stuff's dead? Does that mean, because they couldn't agree a date or whatever, or a time frame, does that mean now it's done? Like, have we moved on from Fury AJ? But look, if it's not Usyk, I don't think anyone's going to complain about Joe Joyce. No one will complain about Joe Joyce, right? Joe Joyce will be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Some people might even want Joe Joyce as opposed to Usyk. Not me, I want Usyk, but I think either of those options. Like Fury's next fight should, and we hopefully will be, either AJ, Usyk or Joe Joyce. They can't complain, can't complain. I know we're moaning right now about Chisora, but if that's his neck, Chisora almost felt like and look, credit to Fury here a little bit. He wanted Usyk, fact, right? Usyk says he wasn't ready. He wanted AJ, did he not? I don't think that was a joke of a call out. It seemed like a serious call out. For whatever happened in the background happened. So he has wanted the next two best. He didn't get that. He's fighting Chisora. If he gets past Chisora, and he should get past Chisora, and then it is Usyk, AJ, or Joe Joyce next, then no complaints from me. We'll see though. We'll see. You know what I did see? I think I spoke about this yesterday. I saw an interview on Toe to Toe podcast. Tasha Jonas was on there, and they were talking about the Terry Harper fight, and they're like, her and Joe Gallagher were like, nope, we're not fighting Terry Harper next. I'm not quite sure what happened with the negotiations or the problem with Matchroom, but it seems very like they're not going to do anything with Matchroom, which is disappointing because it's not even Terry Harper at 154. I wouldn't mind seeing Tasha versus McCaskill at 147. Obviously, McCaskill's got this association with DAZN and I think Matchroom, or is it I'm not quite sure it's Matchroom or Golden Boy, but there's an association there. So hopefully those bridges haven't been burnt so that she doesn't fight anyone on this side, because those are big money fights, big fights. Terry Harper, unification, is it undisputed? I think it might be. It's a big fight. McCaskill, big fight. The only big fight on this side for her is Clarissa Shields. And I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know if Clarissa can comfortably make 154. I spoke to Clarissa in Dubai, and she spoke about wanting to really knuckle down and do the MMA thing. Obviously, she's got a deal with PFL, so I don't know, man. Hopefully Tasha and Joe haven't burnt their bridges, because I wouldn't mind seeing Terry Harper or McCaskill versus Jonas, but we'll see. All right, guys and girls, peace and love.